हेलो। हेलो भाई, हेलो। हेलो। हेलो भाई। भाई क्या हाल है? कुछ नहीं कर रहा, कुछ तो करिए।
There are leaves around, and I know just the tune to accompany them, if you wish to hear it.
और वो कोई हवा की तो आवाज आ रही है, नहीं आ रही? हवा मेरी ठीक आ रही है? ये हो गया कि बेटा है भाई, कोई एकदम कीड़े हुआ नहीं है। टेस्टिंग चल रही है। टीवी वाले ने मेरे पैर
Wherever
में
in
दबा
this
रहा था,
world
वो
I
पट नहीं
roam,
रहा था बीच से।
I carry
ये
memories of
पट
my
रहा था
home.
बीच से।
This blade, it is the last
अरे
link I
भाई
have to the land of my birth.
सही है। ये पड़ते होगा। अरे फिर से भाई नींद आ रही है भाई, सो मत करो। बेचारा तो है, फिर से हो गया। क्या करे यार, कुछ नहीं। लगा तुम खाया है। हाँ इसलिए दो साल तक खेल रहा होगा अभी तक वो पावा पसंद आता है ये करना नहीं आता मुझे स्विंग काम तो
Let's light it up! Dare to mess with me? Useless.
सरकार है और फुल है और बताओ यस भाई मेरा फैक्टर सो रहा है भाई सीधी का एक्टर सोने गए ये लाइट लाइट नहीं आई हमारी भी गई थी सुबह 1 घंटे के लिए फिर आ गई मुझे पता भी नहीं चला मैं तो सो रहा था आराम से जब मैं उठा उसमें 5 मिनट बाद आ गई लाइट
Showing you praise! Let my
कुछ
name
गलत
fill
चीज
the
हो गई है
stone!
Be sanctified. An oversight on my part.
सीढ़ी बैठते सीढ़ी वाला है तो नींद आ गई उसे तो सो रहा है नींद नहीं कर रहा नींद आ नहीं रहा था ऐसे ही चल रहा था कल टेस्ट कर रहा था मैं आज दिक्कत हो गई
Yoo-hoo! Time to shine!
As one with wind and cloud.
Settle
क्यों मार रहा है? क्या लगता है आएगा इसमें क्रिकेट डैमेज आएगा इस फ्लावर में? तो इसी फ्लावर में जाएगा। देखो स्कर्क की तैयारी हो रही है, अब उससे मिलाता है फ्लावर। अरे भाई दुकान तो मैं डेली में सो गए। मैं 1 बजे लॉगिन करा, पेमेंट करा तो जो जा रहा था कल,
Sanctified.
फिर लास्ट में मेरा पोपट हो गया। मैंने बोला मैं पैराडाइज कर लूँगा ड्रैगन को, मेरे को वही नहीं थे उस ड्रैगन करने वाले क्रिस्टल, वही खत्म हो गया था।
Bring it.
30 दिन हो गए, 3 बन गए थे।
Settle down.
ठीक कैरेक्टर क्या हो रहा है इसमें?
Time to shine.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night!
Let the mighty be humbled. Bow your head.
ये बताओ मुझे माइनस की तो नहीं आ रही फैन में हवा की आवाज? कुछ हवा ऐसी तो भाई लिखो ना, मूवी का हो रहा है सेट कार्ड। हाँ ये बताओ मेरी इसकी माइक से हवा की आवाज आ रही है नहीं आ रही? मोहर लगाया उसने मारता है। तो ये क्या था? चल रहा है इसका?
Time itself.
Add as. Thank you for. Add.
There'll be an extra fight.
जो
We should take a break after running around. Yeah, let's rest here for a bit.
I'll think about it.
Error.
There'll be an extra fight.
कुछ करो वाह भाई डिफेंस 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 वाओ
Bring it.
Huh? Do you also see Navia and Clorand over there? They look like they might have run into some kind of trouble. Let's go check out what's going on.
Still no dice?
Not at all. And I've asked pretty much everyone in the court of Fontaine already. Lynette's ears drooped as soon as she heard that we'd have to be out and about for days on end. And Fremine, he hid himself under his helmet as soon as he realized there'd be people around that he didn't know.
What about Chiori and Charlotte? I feel like both of them would be more than up to it.
I've asked them already, but they're both pretty busy right now. I just gave the members of the Spina a few days off, too, so I don't want to bother them either.
This is getting pretty difficult.
Navia, Clorand, what's up?
Oh, my. Well, if it isn't my dear partners.
Huh. Navi.
Huh?
Yep, this is our chance.
Do you need our help with something?
Oh, precisely. My dear partners, we've got a huge...
Whoa, for real?
Absolutely. We've already exhausted all our other options.
Traveler, Paimon, would you join us and play Marechaussee Hunter Judgment?
Marechaussee, what now?
It's a new game script by the Tabletop Troupe, a local roleplay adventure club.
Ever heard of the Tabletop Troupe? They put out games that allow you to participate in a story and roleplay characters with your friends. Oh, I've loved their stuff ever since I was a kid.
That sounds super interesting.
Clorand and I are both veteran members of the club. Recently, someone came up with a new script and was looking for people to help playtest it for them. And when they asked, of course I couldn't refuse. I mean, come on! A brand new script? Nobody has ever played it before.
Generally speaking, scripts at that that level of development have
हेलो
a lot
भाई
of issues.
ध्यान
This
के
one is pretty
माफ
solid.
करना जो
The author obviously put a lot of work
दीनो
into the
हिंदी
story, and the world building is also quite credible.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I know I was the one that handed you the script, but some of us haven't read it yet. No spoilers, please.
Anyway, the script calls for a team of 4. Ah, yes. We're missing one final player right now.
So, you're saying you'll help us out? I knew I could count on you, partner.
Paimon and the Traveler are kind of a package deal. Is that okay?
That's not a problem. I'll adjust the pace based on the actual number of players and ensure that everyone has a good time.
Well, Traveler, what do you think? Wanna play? Paimon will follow your lead.
Well, that solves our problem. You have our thanks.
Woohoo! I'll go grab the script manager from the club, right?
The script manager? Didn't you just say that you gave Cloran the script?
The club introduced a completely new kind of gameplay for the script. In this iteration, the Game Master's version of the script is incomplete. The script manager, on top of that, in order to increase player immersion, the club has created some of the story's sets and scenes in real life. We'll only know where we should go once the script manager reveals the starting location.
Wow, you're right. Whoever wrote this script really did put in a lot of work.
And it's got a real healthy amount of suspense, right? I mean, even the GM doesn't know how the story will end.
I look forward to experiencing it with you all.
Why don't you go meet up with the others first? They should all be waiting at Chioria Boutique. I'll come over with the script manager as soon as I find them.
Sounds good. Remember to always watch where you're going, and don't rush.
You say that like I'm 6 years old or something. Let me think.
I just hope you'll pick up some useful skills this time. Sorry to keep you waiting.
You're back. Huh? And you've got the Traveler and Paimon with you too?
What a pleasant surprise. I assume you'll be joining us for the game then?
Linny, Farina! Paimon didn't know you were playing too. Are you also
I'm more of a casual member, if anything. Still, I'm sure it'll be fun being a player for the first time. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'm not a member of the club at all. Cloran simply woke me up first thing this morning, said there was a good script worth experiencing, and asked if I wanted in.
If you're interested, I can give you a referral. That should give you a 40% discount on membership fees.
I think I'll wait to see how this experience plays out first, especially when it comes to the quality of the script. If it's sufficiently fun, then I'll join.
Do you participate in a lot of tabletop troop activities, Cloran?
You could say that. She's actually one of the few senior game masters of the troupe.
Right. I knew about that even when she was still my subordinate.
It's nothing. Really, just a small hobby of mine.
Wow. Paimon's so used to seeing you be all upstanding and intimidating as the champion duelist.
Surely you jest. I would never intentionally make things difficult for my players. I maintain a clear boundary between my professional and personal lives. The me you see at court represents the law and order of Fontaine. I put all personal feelings to the side and grant a fair duel to all who seek to defend their honor. But in my personal life, I'm just an ordinary person. Someone who feels anger and sadness, just like everyone else.
Well, you say that, but for all the time I've known you, I don't think I've ever seen you cry. I've seen you get angry, sure, but now I'm wondering whether you were actually mad or if it just looked that way from the outside.
I was probably in work mode during those times.
Is that so? Well, in any case, I just feel like even in your personal life, you don't get emotional very often.
So you want to see me cry? That might be a little difficult. A show of anger, though, that might be something I could accomplish.
No. Ah, I'm back. Here, allow me to introduce you to the script manager, Mr. Florian.
Pleasure to meet you all.
Hello. Wait, are you a champion duelist too, Mr. Fleur?
Oh, no. This is just the costume provided by the club. I occasionally play a few of the roles in my scripts.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It's nothing. It's the least we can do to give the players a more immersive experience. Anyway, allow me to give you a brief introduction of the script. This script was adapted from the real history of the Marushose hunters. You all will play the role of hunters from a bygone era and resolve a series of events unfolding in the capital.
Paimon's not super familiar with the history.
Oh, no problem at all. I can give you a brief rundown. So, basically, Marushose hunters were people who dedicate themselves to hunting monsters and protecting the city by using a special swordsmanship technique passed down
Paiman
over
का आया था
generations.
मार्केट में मिलता
Their
था
story can be traced back to the ancient Remurian dynasty, but I'll leave the finer details for you to seek out and discover later.
Mm-hmm. And I'll provide additional commentary as the story progresses.
In that case, brave hunters, are you ready to set out on an...
Whoa, just one sentence and it's like we're in the story already.
Aha! I see many a determined gaze before me. Very well, head over...
So, as we follow the story, it leads us to specific scenes?
It's the exact location of the scene, as well as the formal permission to use the venue. Please check all your belongings, everyone, and make sure you haven't forgotten anything. Once you're ready, please follow me to the designated
Sounds good. Hunter?
दुश्मन लगाया वाह
Bring it!
Whoa, they really have thought of everything. Even the phaetometer is here and ready to go. The phaetometer?
It's a card that's used to determine action success or failure. We'll need to use it when we try to use...
And what about all the dessert and tea?
That's what the message said.
Really? That's so nice. It feels just like a tea party with friends.
Those snacks have Paimon's name written all over them.
I think you might be more of a snack hunter than a Marushose hunter, Paimon.
Snack Hunter Paimon reported for duty. If there are delicious snacks to be found, Paimon will track down every last...
The desserts are great. But I'm still looking forward to the story more than anything.
Very fair. Then, let us begin. First, please pick up the blank character cards in front of you, and write down your name and profession. You can find an abbreviated version of the rules in this story. Everyone is a Marashose hunter. To reflect this, the club has prepared a small badge for everyone.
Ooh, nice!
As hunters, you have proficiency in swordsmanship and fighting by default, so there's no need to allocate any additional skill points to those areas.
Swordsmanship? So there's a fighting part to all this? Paimon's not sure she can do...
Why don't you share a character card then? The Traveler will be the Marashose hunter, and you can be her little floating assistant.
Huh. Kinda like in real life. So, for the name, do I fill it out with the name of my character?
Yep. It can be any name you like.
You can use your real name too if you want. I do that whenever I get too lazy to think of a new name. Oh, so it would be like experiencing a different life, but still as yourself. That's not a bad idea.
In that case, I think I'll continue to use the name Linny then.
Next up is the skill sheet. You have a limited amount of skill points that you can use to learn a number of skills. The more points you invest in a particular skill, the easier it will be to pass associated checks.
I'll take persuasion.
Oh, those skills sound like they'd be useful for gathering intelligence! Good idea, Navia! Just as expected of a veteran player.
So, should we also take those skills then?
Not necessarily. Since we're working together as a team, we could leave the negotiations to Navia and use our skill points to pick up other useful skills. For example, I think I'll take stealth and sleight of hand. That will...
Oh, interesting. I wasn't thinking about it like that. I suppose it's not so different from acting troupe. Everyone has their own role to play. Let me see. I'll take art and performance. I'm not quite...
Well, that leaves us. What do you want to learn, Traveler? Ooh, so you want to help people when they're injured. That's nice. Gotta say, this suits you really... So what do you think? Are you sure you want to learn these two skills?
Let's see. Oh, looks like you each have enough points to choose one final skill.
You've all picked such classic skills. It's fine to go a little bit out of the box, you know.
Why do I get the feeling she's getting ready to cause trouble?
For example, this one here. Summon. Doesn't it sound super mysterious and...
Oh, I saw that one just now as well. The description says, this skill can be used under certain circumstances.
The script's world-building rules, huh? But how are we supposed to know what a Marashose hunter can summon?
Oh, that's not for us to worry about, my friend. Just learn the skills that interest you, and the GM will take care of the rest.
All right, you've convinced Paimon. Let's learn summon then. Paimon.
Well, now that everyone's more or less finished creating their characters, we can begin. Since 2 of our players are doing this for the first time, though, let me ask. Would you like to play on easy mode or authentic?
What's the
Well, in role-playing games, the story sometimes changes based on the decisions of the players and the result. For example, if you fail a check, that means you cannot use the target skill in that scenario. A critical failure may even result in further negative consequences. If you choose to play in authentic mode, every time you elect to use a skill, you'll need to use the Fatometer to see whether you succeed or fail, and face any consequences that may follow. If you choose easy mode instead, every check will be successful by default, and you won't have to worry about luck playing a factor.
Given that I'd like to focus on the story, I suppose I should pick easy mode. I'd feel bad if I brought the team down by failing my checks.
Huh? Oh, come on. Don't worry about that. RNG is the lifeblood of role-playing games. I'm going with authentic, never knowing what you might have to overcome.
I'd rather be...
All right, then I'll mark down Farina for easy mode. All her checks will be successful by default. As usual, Navia and Linny will play on...
What about you, dear partner? How would you...
Are you sure?
Trust me, You'll see the... Honestly, I don't think Clorand would make things too difficult for us, no matter what the...
No promises.
That wasn't super... Well, anyway, enough talk. Let's get started.
Speaking of the story, why is the...
Well, that's because a long time ago, back when human civilization was still in its infancy, powerful demons and evil sorcerers ruled over the land. They created a host of monsters and sent them to slaughter all humans in existence. Soon, a group of human rebels banded together. With their swords raised, they swore to brave the darkness, and in doing so, subdue each and every monster that sought their destruction. They became known as the Marachose Hunt. Sometime later, as a member of the Marachose Hunters, you receive a commission. As you inhale, you can taste the slightly salty air of the docks as you begin to survey your surroundings. Your eyes meet, and you realize these people are fellow Marachose Hunters, likely led to this location after receiving the same commission as you.
You're all Marachose hunters too, right? Allow me to introduce myself. The name's Navia, monster hunter by trade and helpful neighborhood businesswoman on the side. What say you to traveling together? We can help each other out on the road.
Okay, count me in. My name is
और ये
Lee.
अच्छा है
I've been
डायलॉग
wandering
बार
since I
तो
was
बना
little
रखा है
and picked up a few less than legal tricks along the way. I was...
Exactly how it's done.
Paimon is Paimon, a good friend and companion to this Marachose hunter right here.
पाएमोन पाएमोन
I've been studying medicine ever since I was a child. I want to do my part to eradicate these monsters and use what I've learned to heal others.
Oh, welcome, welcome. When we face the monsters, I'll make sure to charge in front to give everyone some cover. You can take care of the healing at the back.
You open your envelopes at the same... To the honorable and trustworthy Marachose Hunters, our kingdom is currently facing a grave crisis. The lands outside the capital have been overtaken by monsters, and our people are being led astray by forces of wickedness. We beseech you, please help us resolve this crisis and return peace and stability to our home.
Huh. The layout of this city looks super familiar. It kind of reminds Paimon of Mondstadt.
The scriptwriter must have used a real-world city as a reference when coming up...
As experienced hunters, the layout of the city reminds you of places once traveled. You recall the sight of tree-lined streets and the gentle tranquility of day. Yet, as you regard the city in front of you, it appears to be little more than an empty shell.
I carefully read every line of the letter and turn my attention to the signatures at the bottom. Who issued this commission to us?
You see a long string of unfamiliar names. It would seem that many of the residents of the city issued this commission together. They sensed that things were not right within the kingdom and sent a distress signal to the outside world.
In that case, why don't we take a walk around the city?
Oh, good idea. We might be able to get some leads on the monsters and bad guys.
You look up and see a tavern nearby. It appears to be open for the day.
Why don't we go check out that tavern? If the novels I've read are anything to go by, taverns are usually full of information.
As you approach the tavern, you find a plainly dressed woman standing nearby. She appears to be rather troubled about something.
Greetings, friend. Lovely weather we're having today, don't you think?
Oh, hello. I suppose you're right. The weather today is quite lovely. If only those monsters out there would stop causing trouble.
It seems like every character included in the script has a certain amount of useful information to offer. If we keep asking questions, we might be able to get...
Oh, come now, don't be sad. Life is all about optimism. Oh, that reminds me. What did you have for breakfast this morning?
Huh?
I don't think that's the kind of question...
Nothing turns a frown upside down like good food. How about some macarons?
You didn't even take cooking as one of your skill proficiency.
That's not necessary, miss. Excuse me for saying this, but you don't really look like a chef.
So you're someone who barely smiles and doesn't like sweets. Hey! Did she just... me?
Glorian must have broke character for...
This isn't getting us anywhere. Traveler, maybe you could...
Are you sure? In that case, please refer to the fatometer.
Okay. चक्का चक्कर वाह अगला काम हो गया फेल हो गया lol
We failed the check?
You remain silent as you prepare a pot and fire to use for cooking. The woman stares at you with her mouth agape as you skillfully cut the ingredient. Perhaps your skills have regressed due to lack of use. But soon, the unpleasant smell of something burnt fills the air.
Oh no. I screwed it up.
It's all black.
Miss, we'd love to learn more about the monsters you mentioned.
wow.
If you're willing to open up to us, we might just be able to help resolve the troubles you're facing.
क्या होगा that's completed
You weren't even the one that learned persuasion.
My troubles, you say? I'm not... A horde of monsters suddenly appeared near the capital recently, so all the guards were...
Do you remember when those monsters...
I'm not completely sure. All I know is that my husband was dispatched...
Do you know where?
It all happened so fast. When we said our goodbyes, he couldn't...
You have our thanks, friend.
Oh, thank you.
Don't worry. We'll find him. We don't always get to choose.
I'll do my best. You bid farewell to the woman and continue your journey further into the city. As you venture further into the city, The streets appear largely empty. An elderly woman walks past. You see her shake her head as she puts away her wrinkled wallet. A nearby merchant folds his arms and gives you a disdainful look. You get the impression that he's someone who has long gotten used to the sight before him.
Although he doesn't seem very friendly, merchants are usually a good source of information, right?
Pardon me, sir. I'd like to ask a question if I...
That depends. How much are you willing to pay?
How about this much?
What do you take me for? Some lowly beggar? You can't even buy
अमित
half an
की
onion
आवाज
with that
बच्चे
amount.
जैसे भी हुआ
Surely an onion can't be that expensive, right?
What do you know? War's nearly upon us. Everything costs several times what it did before.
Whoa, what a nasty guy. Maybe we shouldn't even...
But he still might have information we need. Traveler, can you think of something? Sir, we came to this city to solve the very problem you seem to be referring to. If you happen to be well informed and know a thing or two about what's going on, we'd appreciate it if you could share that information.
Well, things are basically as you said. Those monsters are camped outside the city, and they've been destroying all our... We have limited reserves within the city, so if this continues, we're all gonna be in big...
Wait, you're saying no one has put a plan in place to distribute supplies or maintain...
We could all starve, and those nobles in the palace wouldn't even... Who knows? Maybe they've been in cahoots with the monsters all along.
That is concerning.
All right. That's all the information you need, right? Off with you now. I've still got business to do.
You know, if you smiled a little more, you'd definitely get more business. And I bet that would make your life just a little bit sweeter. I'm not saying it's guaranteed to work. It's just a tip.
Should we try to go somewhere with more people?
Oh, how about the city square? Follow me.
Before you lies the city's central square. You see a man with a slightly anxious look on his face, pacing back and forth, his head hanging low. He doesn't seem to notice your approach, still immersed in his own...
This guy seems promising enough. Hello, sir. Is there...
Oh, wait, you're...
I'm...
Oh, dear goodness, you're a...
You recognize us? Ah, are you one of the...
Yes! Oh, I didn't expect you to actually come. Oh, what great news! The city is saved!
What happened here?
Alas, we once lived comfortable, carefree lives. This city used to be free of monsters. The first Marachose hunter, Casiodor, the Golden Hunter, he was the one who drove... However, monsters have once again surrounded the city. Perhaps the seal that kept them at bay has lost its power.
Are there not enough soldiers to drive them out?
It's not a question of numbers. The guards simply have... Most people my age have never even seen one of the monsters, much less been trained to fight against them. When I was a child, though, my grandfather would tell me stories that, to be perfectly honest, I was starting to think all those stories were just tall tales.
Well, you can rest easy, friend. The righteous and formidable Marachose hunters are on the case.
The man is touched by your determination and resolve. His eyes begin to well with tears of relief.
Still, if we are going to hunt the monsters, we need to know where to find them.
All I know is that the area outside the city is dangerous. Oh, although, if you leave the capital through the main gate and follow the road, you should run into a group of guards. They might know more about where to find.
I see.
All right, be careful. Oh, and one last thing. The monsters outside the city are just part of the problem. There are evil sorcerers inside the city as well, so be on your guard. They're actively working with the monsters, and have corrupted the court ministers with malicious magic. Even one of our kindest ministers has turned into a boorish and unreasonable figure, interested in—
Talk about being stuck between a rock and a hard place.
I feel bad for him. Maybe we should try to cheer him up?
Hey, not everything can be solved with food.
I appreciate your kindness, but for now, it's more important to focus on the crisis at hand. Brave hunters, I leave the future of this kingdom to you.
If I understood correctly, there are currently 2 problems in the kingdom that—
Exactly. We need to defeat the monsters outside the city and take down the evil.
But which problem should we tackle first?
Well, this seems like a good moment for a break. Take—
I really didn't expect the people in the city to keep us at arm's—
Well, Clarence said the script took cues from the real history of Fontaine, right?
I wouldn't say it's a perfect representation of history, but there are definitely some similarities.
Sure. As long as it doesn't spoil anything in the script. You brought up bits and pieces of the Hunter's history before, but...
Paimon wants to know too! The hunters were super powerful, right? Were they?
No. All Marachose hunters were ordinary mortal fighters. The only thing that's—
Huh? So you mean anyone could become a Marachose hunter?
In theory, yes. All you would need to do is survive the rigorous training and master the swordsmanship. Still, most people dropped out at the early stages. And others called it quits the minute they saw a monster in person.
What kind of monsters did the hunters fight?
The land of Fontaine once played host to an ancient dynasty known as Remuria. After that dynasty fell, monsters began to appear. Intent on obstructing humans, one of the ancient sorcerers of Remuria used his power to assemble a formidable army of golems. He sought to use that force to establish a—
now wait a second. Don't tell me that guy was the inspiration for the evil sorcerer in the script.
Well, I wasn't planning on going into anything you might be able to find out in the game. But if you want me to talk about something else, then... How about Casiodor, the Golden Hunter? Or Egeria, the ex-Hydro Archon?
Wait, but those people are all from a super long time ago. Where did you learn all this, Claire?
From my master.
Huh. By master, you mean Miss Petronia?
Is someone you know?
Absolutely. Miss Petronia and my father were good friends. Back in the day, she would often bring Clorand over to play.
Let's not get off topic. Responding to Egeria's call, a number of warriors followed Casiodor into battle against— Yet, as Fontaine entered an era of peace, their work gradually became up—
Ah, I see. That explains why most of the people in the script have forgotten the hunters or think of them as—
Is that really a bad thing, though? It can get tough.
Depends on who you ask, I suppose.
Speaking of investigations, which problem—
I vote monsters. That's the main duty of the hunters.
Well said, Miss Farina. Plus, if the sorcerers really are the masterminds behind this whole thing, defeating the
What about you, partner? What do you think? It's decided that—
All right. After— You there! Outsiders, halt!
What? Who's there?
An armored man approaches you. He has a tall, muscular build and a determined expression in his eyes. Although he's trying his best to conceal his current state, his uneven gait and the sweat dripping down his forehead make it obvious that he's been wounded and is in serious... I'm the captain of the guard. I saw you sneaking around the city earlier, so I'll only ask... State your purpose, or it's off to the dungeons for the lot of you.
Wow, it's been a while since someone's been this suspicious of us.
I said talk, not whisper between yourselves.
Have you...
Marachose hunters? Ha! That fairy tale, you mean? What do you expect?
Sir, we were indeed in the city earlier, but our purpose was only to gather information on the monster. Your guards are still fighting the monsters as we speak. They could be serious...
The man regards you with doubt and concern. After a period of inner struggle, he lets out a long sigh and informs you of the locations where the monsters have... Those monsters aren't easy to deal with, but if you insist on going, I won't stop you either. I just hope all the guards will be able to come back to their families alive. I wish you the best of luck.
Based on what the captain said, the monster should be right up ahead. Let's go. Hopefully we're not too late.
As you approach the battlefield, you see numerous people lying by the side of the road. They appear to be dressed like guards. Their faces are filled with desperation and terror. Some are screaming and cursing in vain, as if still trying to banish the monstrosities they saw from their minds. It doesn't seem like there's any information to be gained. A few of the wounded look up at you in shock and disbelief. Quick, leave this place. Turn around and don't look back, they yell.
This is the place he mentioned, right?
You see broken iron swords scattered all around you. All the signs point to one thing. A truly devastating
Be on your guard, everyone. The monsters might...
Before you can finish your sentence, you hear rustling sounds from the surrounding bushes. The monsters have emerged. They close in on you without fear. You get the impression that, in their bloodthirsty eyes, you're just another meal for them to devour.
A little help here!
Your battle round begins.
Let the world collide! Fire! Well, with rock coming at you!
The next battle round begins now.
Hey there!
The monsters let out a terrifying roar of anger and resentment before dissipating into thin air.
Oh, thank goodness it's over.
We're lucky the Marachose Hunter class came with all those preset skill points. Otherwise, we would have been in some real trouble.
the phytometer even determines the amount of damage you inflict. If you get unlucky.
That's part of the fun. The uncertainty.
Just as you begin to celebrate your victory, a suspicious lump on the ground catches your attention.
A suspicious lump.
I walk up to it, crouch down, and begin to carefully examine it. I've still got my right glove on, so it should be fine for me to touch.
As you investigate the mound, you discover that the exposed portion appears to be made of wood. It was previously obscured by the large form of the monsters. With the monsters gone, the small protrusion now awaits your discovery.
Ooh, it's a treasure chest!
With everyone's help, you successfully, even without opening it. You can tell from the mora and jewels scattered around the chest that—
Makes sense. We worked hard for this.
I can understand your excitement, Paimon, but think about it.
Yeah. Think about all the people suffering in the capital. Or all those guards who—
Wait, is that how it works?
Well, let's put it this way. Any decision you make during a role-playing game can impact the future course of the story.
But would the people really believe us? It's hard enough for us to prove we're Marcia Say hunters. What if they think we procured the treasure illegally?
That's definitely something we should consider. Maybe we can come up with an explanation in advance.
Well, if donating it could cause that much trouble, why don't we use it to buy some gear and fill up on good—
looks like you're facing a difficult choice once again. Well, it's getting late.
Wow!
I'm not sure if it's because I'm having so much fun with you all, or because the story is particularly
Here. Ooh, how about we play through the—
Yeah, that won't work for me either. Lynette will give me an earful of—
I understand how you feel, Navia, but we have to change venues for the next part of this.
Huh?
There's a special note for the GM at the end of this section that says to proceed to an indoor set for the next—
Whoa! They really pulled out all the stuff.
Well, even if we end the game for the day, we can still stay a little longer and hear Cloran finish her story, right?
Something tells me you just want to finish the free desserts before we break for—
That's just a coincidence, okay? Besides, the Paimon not finishing— And anyway, Paimon really does want to hear more about Cloran—
Well...
It's nothing. I appreciate the concern, but it's all— My earliest memories are of living with Master. According to her, she saved me from certain people of ill repute. My birth parents had left me behind some time before that.
What a heavy beginning for a life.
Master was a fascinating individual, if inexperienced in the ways of raising children. My first ever toy was a short sword. Although I suppose it wasn't so much a toy as something Master removed from her waist and handed to a noisy child in need of distraction.
Oh wait, so she handed an actual sword to a child? Isn't that dangerous? Did you hurt yourself?
Of course I did. I cut my palm and bled quite a lot. But Master was not concerned. She just stood there and casually lectured me about it. See, that's what you get for not holding the sword properly, she told me. She then crouched down next to me and said, "Give me your hand."
Excuse me for asking this, Clorand, but...
Probably around,
3? Isn't that when most kids are still struggling?
As I said, Master was rather inexperienced in the ways of raising children.
I'm not so sure this is a question of...
I didn't see anything wrong with her ways at the time. And anyway, children don't get to choose how they're raised. Oh, she did bring me back a pet from Liyue once. It was a Geovishap hatch.
A Geovishap hatchling? For a pet?
What she said was this: make sure to get along, you two. If you really can't agree on something, just settle it with a fight. Whoever.
And how old?
5.
Well,
No, I lost.
So you're saying you actually became the
Yes, but only for a week. By the end of that week, I defeated it in combat, and we've shared a
that really doesn't sound like the kind of childhood someone.
Later on, I gradually understood that Master most likely didn't know any other way to raise a child. She was a Marechaussee hunter, but I never heard her bring up her own parents. Thanks to her, I learned how to navigate the forest by the age of 6, and could hunt monsters in the wild. Even though the training she subjected me to was strict, she always made sure to take me traveling when she had the time. We met many of her friends during those days. That was also how I met Mr. Callis and his family.
I still remember the first time we met. You were too scared to join our picnic and hid behind Ms. Petronia the whole time.
I still hadn't really met many children my age at that time, so I didn't know how to interact with others.
After that, though, you started coming over a lot. You loved challenging people to shooting competitions, remember?
I had a lot of fun during those days.
I enjoyed them too. We tried to pretend like we never heard anything, but you nearly let it slip that one time.
Protector of justice. Oh, wait, you mean that vigilante hero from 20 years ago?
Yep, that would be her. She often would put on a black cloak and go out at night. I never knew where she went or what she was doing. Until, like Navia said, we overheard the truth from Mr. Cap.
20 years ago, huh? I still remember the guards leaving all kinds of witness reports about her at Nerval.
My apologies.
Oh, there's no need to apologize. Although calling herself the protector of order was a bit much. Especially when she deliberately operated out.
Huh? When did the Protector of Justice become the Protector?
Oh, she had a bunch of code names. I heard she would just come up with a name on the spot. Later on, she probably got sick of answering those questions and decided to stick to just 2. The Protector of Justice.
That sounds like her, all right. I bet she forgot which of the 2 she'd use by the time she got back each night.
Well, she certainly sounds like a fascinating individual.
It's true. I always wanted to become like her. Someone powerful, independent, and with a strong sense of conviction. But... She suddenly disappeared the night I...
Disappeared?
I have no idea. She didn't even... That night, I was celebrating my birthday at Navia's house. But Master never came to pick me up. When she still didn't appear after a few days, I went to Mr. Callis's house to ask about her
Papa probably didn't know either. I know he sent a few people to investigate the matter in secret, but they never...
Don't worry, I understand. To be perfectly honest, given Master's personality and way of doing things, it all made a lot of sense. If I had... Just like how, when a litter of kittens reaches a certain age... I was at first, but not anymore. I don't believe Master would suddenly disappear for no reason.
Well, despite everything, you still managed to follow it.
I suspect my position would be far too by the books for her.
Who knew Clorand had such an interesting path? I wonder if Clorand's master were the champion duelist back then. Oh no. Judging by the atmosphere, Clorand and Navia are probably thinking something similar.
Well, anyway...
I had a great time today, Miss Clorand.
Anytime.
The script was good, but I've got to say... Hey, you should tell us more about that fight against the
What does she mean, on to something? I certainly don't know any 5-year-olds who want to fight. Guess I'll head back as well.
You're that excited to hear about my fight with the bishop?
I was
चलो भाई आज की सुन गई लोग पे कल कंटिन्यू करेंगे क्वेस्ट ये वाले बाय बाय